30% of the population in the UAE is Indian, right? Indians love buying properties.
Is that how they build their generation wealth?
Yeah, I mean that is one way of
Yeah.
building generational wealth.
Don't kill the golden goose.
They just canceled the Golden Visa
Yeah.
program through investment in
Yes.
Spain. Khalas, gone. Portugal, khalas, gone. Dubai, it's only 2 million
2
dirham.
million dirhams, yeah.
Exactly.
Dubai is in true sense cosmopolitan.
Property taxes is at least 1% in these top cities in the United States. There are zero property taxes
Yeah.
in Dubai, so that's not eating into it. So you still have almost twice the projection of growth in Dubai than these other major cities in the United States. Dubai has seen a record influx of investors coming from India, the UK, Canada, and the United States. But why? What is happening in those markets that are driving them to come invest here in Dubai? We're going to discuss that today on the Dubai Connect. My name is Ghada Gigi Benitez. I'm a certified international property specialist and a licensed realtor, connecting global real estate investors with the incredibly lucrative opportunities of Dubai's real estate. Welcome to the Dubai Connect. Today on the Dubai Connect, I have two of the most highly esteemed and well-experienced real estate brokers who can discuss with us what's happening globally in these markets. So please welcome to the show Mr. Tahir Majithia.
Thank you.
Hi, Tahir.
Hi, Gigi.
And Ahmed Ashfaq. Hi, Ahmed.
Hello, Gigi.
Welcome back, my partner in crime here. So, Tahir and Ahmed, we have seen, of course, the numbers fluctuate about who the top investors are, but consistently we're seeing India in the top spot, UK competing for that number one spot. Ahmed, we have seen so many Canadians and Americans starting to come in.
Correct.
So I thought it would be important, especially it's the beginning of 2025, to do a global comparison of these markets with regards to the main factors that investors look into: entry price points, median home price points, capital appreciation opportunities, projections, even the economic situation in each of these countries, rental returns, property taxes, etc. So with that, let's start with India, Tahir. What's going on in India that we see so many Indians bringing their money to Dubai?
I mean, see, Gigi, Indians have always been historically, if you see, from the time Dubai has opened its markets to, being freehold and everybody can buy property here. Indians have always been the top buyers of property here for various reasons. Number one, 30% of the population in the UAE is Indian. Okay, so that is one reason because of its strong ties with India. That being said, what is also happening, a lot of Indians are looking at investments overseas. One is, for better opportunities in terms of rental returns, because in India, if you see in the good markets, when I say good markets, means the top cities.
Okay.
Because India is a big country and you cannot compare all the different cities, right? So if you take about, say for example, the financial capital, which is Mumbai. Okay, now in Bombay you would get a return on if you buy a property and if you put it on rent, your rental returns are around 1-2%. Okay,
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And on top of it, you have to pay taxes, and it's not as organized and systemized like here. So people today here are making easily 6, 7, 8% return, bare minimum. Okay, on top of it, obviously, if you are a non-resident, you don't pay any taxes. Plus, one more reason is that you hedge against the rupee going down.
Okay.
So if you see, I'll give you an example. I had a client who invested in Dubai somewhere in 2014, and at that time the rupee to the dirham was, one dirham was around, I think if I'm not mistaken, 15 rupees or 16 rupees, which today is almost 23 and a half, 24.
Wow.
Right? So if you see the 10-year thing, just the rupee depreciation, and because the dirham is pegged to the dollar, it's like a dollar investment for them. So it's also exposure into different markets. Plus, what has happened is Indians usually are very, I would say, very much into real estate, right? Indians love buying properties. That's why even in London, the majority of the buyers or majority of the people who own properties are Indians, right? So
You would, I'm sorry, would you say that is that how they build their generation wealth?
yeah, I mean that is one way of
Yeah.
building generational wealth, and they Indians love two things to buy. One is the Indian women love buying gold. Right?
Okay.
Where, there've been times where our finance minister had to come and say, "Listen, please, I urge you, don't buy so much
God,
gold."
okay.
But Indians love buying gold
Okay.
and real estate. So these are the things, and plus it's UAE is very close to India in terms of proximity. I'm from Bombay, and if I'm not mistaken, daily there are about over 20 flights just to my city, right? Forget all the other.
And is it a
So the
4-hour flight or
2 hour, two
2
and a
hour?
half hours.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it's very close. So these are things, and plus a lot of Indians, especially the wealthy Indians, are now looking at a base outside of India, and the first choice is Dubai.
First choice to buy.
Migration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Migration, also having, maybe if it's a big family, maybe having one family member, based outside. Because what happens is when you have that kind of wealth and you want to invest into, say, whatever business is or what you have, right? Moving money from the UAE to anywhere is much easier than doing it from India.
I'm hearing this.
It's way more easier. Like today, for example, if someone is based here and decides, oh, listen, I want to buy something in, I want to buy a business in London. I want to start something in US. I want to start something elsewhere. And transacting, having a business over here is much easier. Also, a lot of people who are into, say, exports or imports, right? If they have an office over here, it makes it much easier for them to deal with other countries being based here as a UAE entity as compared to an Indian entity.
That makes complete sense. So it's not just for real estate.
Not
It's
just
for
real estate, it's
business,
also for a lot of
it's
business
life.
opportunities.
The golden visa is very
Yes,
attractive for them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Because, you buy a property for 2 million, you're getting a golden visa for yourself, your family, And the biggest thing is, for a lot of wealthy Indians especially, it's also the quality of life, right? The kind of, life they can enjoy over here, it's really amazing. Because what happens in India, no matter how much, you could be a millionaire, a billionaire, but the lifestyle in general, right, is not what you can enjoy over here.
How many
right?
years ago did you move from India?
About 10, 12 years, 12 years now.
But you go back and forth often?
I do go back and forth, of course.
And then how do you feel when you come back to Dubai?
I mean, Dubai is a place which spoils you, okay? And I'm born and brought up in Bombay and spent, probably 3 decades there.
Okay.
My entire. But what happens is when I go there now, I do love my city and everything, but I'm so spoiled in the last, 10 years
Yes.
that, I'm like, I want to come back. Because you're so used to the convenience what Dubai offers you as a
Yes.
place. And it's nothing to do with, someone who's living, say, a basic lifestyle or very high. It's nothing to do with that, but
It's
just
everybody.
the place,
Yes.
The place in general
Yes.
is, just you come to the airport and you just see the ease of coming out, right? And how quickly you're out and you're in the cab is just, that experience, right, is something which I think a lot of places lack. And I'm, not just, globally I've traveled
Even
to a
Europe.
lot of places.
Even Europe.
You go to UK,
Yeah.
Heathrow takes sometimes,
Yes.
2 hours, 3 hours
Yes.
just to clear the immigration and
Yes.
get out. And here you come and it's like this.
Everything's systemized.
Everything is systemized.
It's so true. We were just having this debate with a few people yesterday, and we were talking about how Dubai makes the transition so smooth into whatever it is.
Yes.
For example, you were talking about Europe. I remember when I traveled to Barcelona, it took me almost hour and a half to get my luggage
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
The immigration line took us another 40 minutes. And when you're walking through
Dubai?
Emirates, Dubai airport, is the smoothest transaction you will ever experience than anywhere in the world.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons I feel we're so spoiled that the minute we touch down and land Dubai, there's this sense of relief that,
You're
wow,
here.
we're here. We're
And
home.
Dubai just got voted again for the 5th year in a row as the cleanest city
Yeah, I mean,
in
look,
the world.
it's-
That's a
it's-
huge factor that draws people too.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that is, there, but apart that, there's so many things, it's not just
It's not one thing. It's the whole way.
It's the whole
Yeah,
package,
yeah, it is.
It's the whole package, the way, it's located, the airline, the connectivity, the government efficiency, the way the government functions here, the safety, security, all these things put together make Dubai, an attractive place.
So, Tahir, so you do agree that people who claim that Dubai is nothing and only it's all about the glitter and glamour.
No,
So,
this is because, a lot of people who see Dubai from overseas and, they don't know much about Dubai and probably they've just visited here for 3-4 days. They feel that, and I don't blame them because they've come here just for a few
experience
days
that.
to experience Dubai. And, they probably, if a tourist is coming here for 2 or 3 days or 4 days, is going to go to the main tourist spots. And when you go to those places, you will obviously see, the glitz and glam,
Yeah.
but Dubai also has, a subtle side to it, which is, I feel, is the more real Dubai, which a lot of time tourists don't see. Also, a lot of people who've not visited Dubai, they see Dubai only on Instagram and probably some shows online. When you come
Yes.
over here, you have people from all around the
Yeah.
world. One thing which I really love about Dubai, and this is my personal experience, right? You get to meet so many people from around the world, and it's like Dubai is in true sense cosmopolitan, and it's a mix of people from around the world, and they all live in peace and harmony.
Yep.
Usually when you go to different parts of the world, you see certain people are staying in a certain area and stuff like that. But here, it's not really that. People from around the world live over here, and you get to meet so many different
many
people.
people.
You understand their culture. You understand, what their country is about, what the people are about, and what their food is like. It's amazing.
And that is actually even shown in the real estate market.
Yes.
Because everybody has an opportunity
Yes.
to invest and purchase real estate here,
Absolutely.
wherever you come from. Everybody, for example, I had a client with me the other day who's a Pakistani, and he said, well, I still get the golden visa in Dubai if I'm Pakistani passport. And I said, what do you mean? The golden visa through investment is 2 million dirham investment. They don't care where you come from.
Yeah.
Now, and I will segue that to other countries such as Canada, where, let's say, if you are an Indian national that comes to Canada, there are regulations about you buying property there, right, Ahmed?
just like in the US as well.
So, which is why we're seeing, and I wanted to actually, talk to you about what you're seeing about with Canada's numbers, what's happening in Canada's real estate market, where we're seeing such a huge number of our calls come in from Canada.
Yes.
So, what's going on there?
Well, let me start off with saying 2025, Mohammed Al Abbar, CEO of EMAR, quoted just recently, "Don't kill the golden goose." And unfortunately, that's exactly what has happened in Canada. The average Canadian cannot afford, due to the unaffordability on the prices of the homes that have been inflated to a point where people, just like America is facing the same issue, is people cannot afford homes. The average home today in Canada is starting anywhere around $670,000 to all the way up to $860,000. It's almost 10 folds of an average Canadian income, especially knowing that the banks are giving you only 4 folds of what your income is. And that's been one of the biggest factors why people in Canada have not been able to afford to buy homes recently. One of the biggest issues, I believe, is not just in Canada. We're starting to see that in Dubai as well. People need to start seeing beyond the high-rise buildings. One of the most important factors which nobody looks at is look into the economy of the country
Correct.
first. How strong is the economy of the country in order to strengthen or continue to strengthen the real estate industry? In Canada, unfortunately, for the last, I'm not even going to go back all the way up to 2017. Let's just go 4 years back. 2021, it has been a flat line in Canada's housing market. And one of the biggest factors that has, I would say, pulled the entire real estate industry in Canada is unfortunately the pre-constructed condo projects. Now, the problem with this was that 67% of the buyers for pre-constructed condos were investors, okay, who are looking either into Airbnb, rental, and of course, flipping at the same time. Unfortunately, when these projects were sold 3 years ago, majority of these investors came in and picked them up in a resale market at a very high premium. So with today's current situation, the real estate market, those condos are extremely overpriced. So we know the banks will not finance these people, which is the problem they're facing right now. So now majority of these investors are making a decision whether to hold or do we pull out, because obviously they cannot continue on paying or afford to continue. So they're thinking about pulling out. So we have seen, especially in 2024, a lot of the investors are cashing out. They are either selling or dumping these properties because with the high interest rate, it makes no sense to continue, especially with the rental market being so weak. Majority of these investors have realized that the rent, it's not worthy of even renting these apartments now that they're completed because they're averaging anywhere around 1 to 2%, just like
Wow.
in India. So compared to when you're telling the people in Canada, come to Dubai, invest, minimum you're looking anywhere from 6 to 8% net to you from a rental return. What do you think that's going to happen? It's having a domino effect. And trust me when I say this, majority of our investors that we speak to, they are cashing out in order to buy properties here in Dubai.
Yep.
So the economy is struggling big time. As well, Theodore, now that he has put his resignation, people started seeing some sort of a light throughout the tunnel that 2025 will be great.
Yeah.
But guess who kind of spoiled it up for the Canadians right now? Trump. With Trump's 25% tariff that he has
He's just
implemented,
announced.
which he will,
Yeah.
it has not gone 100% in effect.
Right.
But if it does, it will be one of the biggest trade wars between US and Canada because 25% will definitely hurt their already broken economy. 2024, their GDP was 1.1%. Compared to Dubai's, we were over 4%.
With
So
projections.
for next year, it's close to 5%.
Yeah.
So this is what people need to see is that when the economy is broken down and is weak, it is definitely bound to have a domino effect, which will affect the jobs over there, which will affect the cost of living over there. And we have already been seeing that taking place in Canada. Now, don't get me wrong. Not the entire Canada is all black and white. So there are certain locations, certain cities that are doing well. But due to the pre-constructed condo project, that itself is driving the entire market further down. And with if the 25% tariff comes in effect, that is definitely a big fear factor for the Canadians at the moment
unfortunately.
because it will have a massive negative domino effect.
Definitely. But even with the United States having a strong economy, okay, now the GDP for the United States is probably, the growth projection is probably half of what we're projecting Dubai's GDP growth, right? But Dubai, the United States is still a strong economy, but there are factors even within that strong economy that have affected Americans when it comes to real estate.
Indeed.
We know that the majority of wealth is built through real estate. We know that generational wealth
Yes.
is created through real estate. And there are many cultures and subset cultures in the United States that bring that, such as the Indian nationality, et cetera, that bring that. They love to own, even me, myself, Chaldeans, love to own real estate because they build that wealth for their families, et cetera. However, if we look at the median prices for a home, for example, in New York, it's over $1 million for a median house.
correct.
In San Diego, because I'm also a licensed realtor in California, so I do sell real estate in California. We're almost at $1 million. San Francisco, I think it's 1.3, $1.4 million. Los Angeles, almost $1 million. So just the median price and the income you have to be able to afford that median price, and then let's factor in how much Americans pay in taxes.
Right.
Correct.
So even if we're on a apples to apples of income, how much of mine is eaten away as an American, leaving me less disposable in order to be able to invest? Median income is a median price point is too high. Then we look at, and it's funny because I saw Zainab Fattah on Bloomberg talking about the projections for Dubai's numbers for 2025. And I believe the projections were 8% for the market as whole, I think 4 or 5% for the luxury market. And I had a client from America say, it's too late for me.
I don't think people are still late. It's only that they
They're
need to be
not.
selective.
Yes.
Okay. Prices in Dubai, if you compare it with global prices, they're still reasonable. There's still room for growth. Yes, how much growth is something which we cannot say, but yes, it'll still grow. If people are selective and if they understand what they need to buy and if they know what they need to buy, that is where they will make money. Because in the last few years now, there are so many projects that it's not possible that every project will make money, and that's where people need to be very selective on what they're buying. If they just eyes closed buy, say, thinking that, this happened 3 years back and I'll buy this and I'm going to get the same results, that's not the thing. You need to know what you're buying. You need to be very selective on what you're buying. It has to be a good product, because what will happen is, and I was just discussing this with someone yesterday, that what is happening in the market, that good quality properties, when I say good quality, I just don't mean a branded developer. No,
Okay.
it doesn't need to be branded, unbranded, doesn't matter. Property has to be a good fit, finish, good layout. Okay. It has to be something which stands out amongst 10 other properties. If that kind of property comes ready, handed over, the rents are really great on those properties. The prices on those are also really high, because what is happening is, when the client is coming in the market today, they want something good. Okay. They want something really nice. They're willing to pay top dollar for it, but they want something good quality. Okay. And this is across the different types of property, whether it is a 1 bedroom for 1 million dirham, or you're talking about a villa for 100 million dirham. When the client is coming, they say, okay, fine, instead of 1 million, I'm ready to pay 1.1, 1.2 if I get something really nice. Because that property is renting faster, doesn't stay vacant, and is giving a much better ROI. Okay. So that is where people need to be very cautious, that when they are investing, they make sure they invest in the right stuff.
Correct.
Don't just go by, things like, just because you attended a roadshow of someone,
Right.
Or they saw so many hoardings or so many ads.
Yes.
That doesn't need to be the criteria.
No.
Your fundamentals of buying property need to be right. And if you buy with that, I think there's still a lot of, scope of
Absolutely
appreciation.
is. But even Tahir, to go back to just the numbers, if we were just to look at the projections of 8% and then 5%, if you compare that, for example, to New York is only expected to go up 3 to 4%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just projections for increase of price per square foot. Then you talk about the rental returns. I know you were both saying that in Canada, 1 to 2%, India, 1 to 2%. San Diego is like maybe 2%, Los Angeles maybe 3 to 4%, New York is maybe 4%, and then we're not even talking about property taxes. Yes. Property taxes is at least 1% in these top cities in the United States. There are 0 property taxes in Dubai, so that's not eating into it. So you still have almost twice the projection of growth in Dubai than these other major cities in the United States. The median price and entry point and what you can get for $1 million, significantly greater than the US, greater long-term rental returns, and Airbnb opportunities, which is being limited in the United States.
Definitely these are all the factors. But also what has changed, right, in the last few years is see, I'll give you an example. Like a lot of Indians, and when I say Indians, I don't mean just Indians living in India.
Okay.
But Indians globally.
Okay.
Okay. They always used to, especially the wealthy ones. I'm talking
Okay.
about the ones, the ultra wealthy Indians, used to have a thing that, okay, we want to have a base in London.
Okay.
When I say base, okay, a property over there, just to secure something there, have,
A foothold there. Okay,
over there.
got it.
Maybe tomorrow kids go to study,
Sure.
etc., etc. And Dubai was nowhere in the picture that time. Okay, people used to think, okay, I need to have a base in Singapore. So, usually if you like 10, 15 years back, London, New York, Singapore, Hong Kong, these were the main places where money used to move. Okay, and the big bankers and all used to go. Now that shift has happened, and UAE has become a place where people are now looking to bring their wealth in, set up their family offices. Just to give you an example, BlackRock just set up an office in Abu Dhabi, and over a period of time, now people have confidence in the region. And so that's why the place is like, is still an emerging market.
So it's not just about what you're saying. It's not just about those numbers about rental return and capital appreciation. It's about having a foothold
having
here.
a foothold here,
Yes.
right?
Beyond- it's
Yes.
beyond
okay,
that.
Yes.
Look, a very simple thing, right? India, one of India's richest man, Mukesh Ambani, he never
Okay.
had a property. Bought a property here, and the last few years, they bought, one of the most expensive houses on the Palm belongs to him. They could have bought even years back, but it's now because the place is emerging. You see
a very
a
good
lot
point.
of not just wealthy Indians, but people from around the world.
Ultra high net worth
Ultra
individuals.
high
The
net worth
numbers
individuals
are here.
Are coming here.
Yes.
If Dubai is selling the most houses over $10 million a year, comparing, they're twice than London, right? Almost. So
Wow.
if we are selling so many houses worth over $10 million, that speaks for itself that there is something which people have now identified that, okay, yes, this is a place where your capital is secured. It's easy to, do business over here. And the entire environment over here is, a growth mindset. And that is one reason where people are, looking at buying property in Dubai. As in, they want a base over here. Even
So
if they
I'm
use it, they
hearing
don't
you.
use it. They want to have a property in Dubai because, yes.
They want to be a part of this.
Yes.
I'm hearing you. And I mean, just to reiterate this, if I'm understanding correctly, it's, yes, we can talk about the numbers and the numbers still make sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if we were just to look at the numbers, it makes sense. But the draw, when you see the ultra high net worth individuals that are coming here, that aren't necessarily worried about their 8% rental returns or whatever.
They're not even worried about the
they're
taxes.
Not right.
Right? They want
Right.
a foothold here.
Right.
They want that we need a presence now in
Right.
the UAE.
And actually, I did a podcast episode yesterday with an attorney here to talk about how to start a business here. Fortune
86.
500 companies that have set up their headquarters here. And, in Expo City, for example, we're seeing so many Fortune 500 companies and businesses that are setting up here to be able to cater to the rest, like to Africa and Asia,
Yes.
etc., but also to rub elbows with other people in these top businesses of different industries,
yeah.
right? Because that's the other thing is the diversity of the industries in Dubai. Of course, we talk about real estate,
Yeah.
but the trade agreements that are happening right now that are pulling
Yeah.
in China and South America here, right?
Absolutely.
Correct.
And then tech, which is a huge part, and you're seeing tech hubs starting
Tech,
here.
AI, crypto,
Crypto?
yeah, they have a proper, they have a crypto tower coming up in
Yeah,
Dubai.
I just heard
So,
that.
Yeah,
So I think I'm going to keep saying that, but it's such a valuable point that you make. Yeah, we can talk about the numbers. It makes sense, but there's something bigger going on in Dubai.
Absolutely.
Be a part of it or don't, but this is your opportunity.
Yeah.
And to be able to get the golden visa through an investment so minimal. I also have offices in Spain. They just canceled the golden visa
Yeah.
program through investment in
Yes.
Spain. Khalas, gone. Portugal, khalas, gone. Dubai, it's only 2 million
2
dirham.
million dirhams, right?
Exactly.
And that too, even if you've not paid the whole amount, still, you buy a property,
Yes.
register the document, and you still
Yes.
can go
CGD,
ahead.
there's a very good explanation and a reason why Mohammed Al Abbar came and said and used the word don't kill the golden goose. I've always repeatedly always said that. Dubai learns from other countries' mistakes. So we avoid losing that time frame by not repeating those mistakes. And the reason he made that very clear was he's trying to send a message out to especially the newcomers in the market. And I understood why he said that is because yesterday, for example, I was speaking to an investor in the US who's entering the market for the first time.
Okay.
So he has been following up the market the last 3 years, and he's been seeing the growth, the enormous number of the percentage growth we have seen. So his question was, why am I not going to see that sort of a growth now that I'm entering the market in 2025? And coming back to don't kill the golden goose is, we do not want to be where Canada is today, where the prices are so exaggerated that people are having a hard time, the newcomers are having a hard time to come in the market. So if we try to control our growth and prices and not inflate the prices to a point, we will see a healthy return of new wave of investors who missed out on the
and
boat
the residents
to come
be able
into
to
the
afford a
market.
place too.
Exactly. We do not want to harm the residents who are already here, where they will feel the pinch of the inflated prices, because now the second wave is also people, residents who have been living here. So if loans, mortgages are going to be very accessible, which we will see a wave of mortgages being more and more convenient. For example, right now you have to pay minimum anywhere from 40% in order to be able to be qualified for a finance. Just like in the US, there will come a time where you will only need to put a deposit of 10%
we'll see
and
that.
be able to see that. So Dubai will never lay out all its ace cards in one shot on a table. Everything gradually will come in its time.
Strategic. It's
Exactly.
strategic.
There
It
has to be a
operates like a
strategy.
business.
Why
It's
do you
strategic.
exactly? Why do you think we came up with the rental index right now, where now we're going to have a rating system? Because what Tahir, the point he just made earlier, it is very important now to choose the right project, because your rating, the star rating, will be based on what sort of amenities you have, what location
good
you have,
point.
what's the quality of your project. And based on that, you will be allowed to hike your rent as per the index.
Yep.
Because 2024 rents went up to almost up to 24%.
And there's no control
Exactly.
about
Is
that
that
hike.
healthy to continue? No, it's not healthy. So if we don't want to see that bubble that everyone talks about,
Yes.
no, there is
Yes.
no bubble. A correction, if this continues, this attitude continues, yes, we will see a major correction.
Yeah.
But to avoid the major corrections, there has to be a streamline of balance
Checks
and
and
controlling
balances.
everything.
Absolutely.
So coming back to Canada, for example, one of the biggest beating that is being taken by investors is in the luxury market section. And why? Once again, for example, a 50 million dirham villa is selling at 150 million due to the spike in the market. Who do you think is going to take the first beating if the market goes to a correction? Is the luxury segment. So yes, it is very important to choose the right projects. The developers, I'm going to be very 100% confident, they will start being more conservative on how they start increasing their prices
Well,
in the upcoming
I believe
launches.
Amar's founder just announced that this year, instead of focusing on increasing pricing, they're going to focus on delivery. But of
Exactly.
course, we know that these developers are working with the government and the DLD
Of
to
course.
make sure to
The supply and demand
strategize
stays.
the pricing.
I mean, see, I'm not really worried about the supply, because whatever supply people are getting worried about, 100,000 units coming. See, first of all, 100,000 units don't get delivered in a year.
Correct. It's like
Right?
60% of
It
what.
takes time.
Yes.
Okay. And on larger projects, there's delays can always happen. Okay. And it's not about being they're delaying because of some financial issues or anything.
course.
That's a no. But building such massive projects do take time. Okay. Sometimes it could be something related to infrastructure, electricity. There are a lot of things when it comes to development. So I'm not really worried about that, because gradually when the supply keeps coming, we're expecting more people to come into the city, and the way Dubai is going, more and more people will come, and somewhere we need more homes to come in, because then the affordability will remain, right? And it's a cycle. If more homes get delivered, what happens then? Obviously rents will cool down. If rents cool down, that means more people will then make the move, right? Okay, yes, it's I want to move. So it's a cycle, and that is fine. But one thing which people really need to be aware of is, like what Ahmed said, is buying a good
Yep.
developer and a good development
And a good area.
good property.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter that, even if you're buying in the most remote area place, it's okay. But as long as the development is good, it's good quality, good layout, nice space planning.
Which is why it's important to work with a team like ours.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's, there is so much stuff and people are selling, whatever. is
Everything and
coming,
anything.
anything. But only the next few years people will realize what, they bought probably was
not the best
not,
decision.
Not
Hopefully
everything is,
none of our clients.
Yes.
Tahir, for the final comparison, I wanted to talk about, because they are the top buyers, UK.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Look, a lot of people from the UK are migrating to Dubai, especially the millionaires. And last year, one of the places where most millionaires migrated out of was the UK, for various reasons. Safety, security being one of the key reasons. That's one. Taxes is second, because a lot of taxes. Plus, even after paying taxes, the healthcare system and the education. Though UK has some amazing
Great schools, but
colleges, but they're still not really happy with what's going on in the UK. And what has happened, Gigi, that in the last few years, what we're seeing is, especially if it's a high net worth individual who has multiple businesses and all, today you don't really need to be physically in a place if you're running a big business, right?
True.
You as a business owner, you could probably operate from wherever and can go back and forth. So we're seeing a lot of people actually move their families here, because this is another trend which we are seeing change. Okay, typically, if 10 years back, if someone came to me and asked me what's the best type of a property I should buy as an investment, I would have said, eyes closed, just buy studios.
Right.
And one bed.
Because it was single people coming here.
Because there were single people
Yep.
coming in, and those were the best yielding properties. But that is changing. In the last few years, now we're seeing families coming in, and the larger units, the 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, obviously that's the reason townhouses and villas, because townhouses and villas start only from 3 bedroom plus,
bedrooms.
right? We're seeing much higher demand because people are moving with families. If they have kids, they want, or they're moving with, they have parents, whatever. They need bigger spaces. Larger units are more in demand now, and I see that demand even growing. You see the number of schools which are opening. Obviously, when they open schools, there is some sort of study and requirement.
Correct.
Okay, there are a lot more schools coming in Dubai in the near future, and that is gonna attract more people coming here. So it's I would say, if anybody is today buying into Dubai, look into the bigger units. Don't go for the typical studios or one beds. If you can afford.
If you can afford it.
If
And
not,
we've
of course,
that's-
it's a different thing.
That's what we tell our clients, if that's what you can afford.
Yeah.
And then, to your point though, if their budget only allows for a 1 bedroom, be very picky
Be very
and
picky.
choosy about where it is,
Absolutely.
which developer, what
Absolutely.
area. And, that's why Ahmed and I really only recommend a handful of areas. And we're
Yes.
constantly analyzing the market to say, okay, that's it with this area.
True.
Let's get you into something that's rare. That one hand overcomes, you
An
stand out.
up and coming community.
Yep.
To
Yeah.
start from the bottom over there.
Absolutely.
One of the most biggest advantages, Gigi, we have over what I've been seeing, for example, in Canada, why they're in a big mess, even though their real estate market is struggling. But guess what? Property prices, for example, new developers that are launching new developments, they're still launching at higher prices, and they cannot control that due to the construction cost, because the construction cost keeps getting
You're right.
higher in
Yes.
Canada and including in US as
Yes.
well. In Dubai, on the other hand, we're extremely blessed where the construction cost is controlled. It does not exaggerate to the cost that it does in Canada and US.
Also, when you ask me about people moving from the UK, because the cost of living is gone up high for a lot of people
In the UK.
In the UK,
Okay.
right? A lot of people are also moving is because even if they pay the same amount of money or spend the same amount of money what they're spending in the UK, they get a much better quality of life over here, right? A much better quality of living. Also, don't forget that you also have retirement visas here, right? So people are also retiring, okay? Even if they have assets back in the UK, okay, for them, if they're, earning on that, but if they are not living in the UK, then they save on taxes. Plus, one reason why we're seeing the global rich move the money out of UK properties is the inheritance tax. Okay. Now that is because I recently had a friend who's like, I'm now moving my, I asked him, why are you selling your property in London? And he's like, bro, just in case if tomorrow something happens, I don't want to get into this whole hassle of inheritance tax because the property is owned between him and his dad. And he's like, you know what? Just in case if it comes, I have to then pay 40% inheritance tax.
They're facing a lot of this in the UK.
So what is happening is people are, because here we don't have any inheritance tax, right? So people are like, okay, I want my money to be secured and safe. So why not here? Because imagine if you have a property worth 10 million pounds and tomorrow your kids are inheriting it or whoever's inheriting has to pay 4 million pounds. But what if they don't have that
By
money?
the way, what's the percentage on that inheritance tax?
40%.
40%, Gigi. Do you believe that? How insane is that?
So, that is the reason why, it's not just about people moving, but the wealth moving.
The wealth moving.
Yeah.
So actually talking about UK, because I spent the summer next to Marbella on the Costa del Sol, there's a huge, maybe they're the top expat community are
Yes.
British. And it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be enforced. But recently, one of the
Spain
leaders
came.
of Spain
Yes.
said that they want to start doing or implementing 100%
100% tax.
property tax. And there's been conflicting information whether he meant 100% or 100% increase in property tax. Whatever it is, it's to dissuade these expats from coming in and buying property. And also, I don't know if you know this, I don't even know if it's possible for many expats to secure financing in Spain. But in Dubai,
It's very easy.
it's very easy for a foreigner to secure financing here.
Correct.
You're not going to have a wealth tax. Now, I didn't know about you're not going to have the inheritance tax. You can get the visa to live here. It's very and the golden visa is gone in Spain. It's very difficult to secure any other type of visa. So I am seeing that huge shift from UK, British, that we're moving to the south of Costa del Sol, which is beautiful. It's gorgeous.
No doubt.
sure.
The
No doubt.
weather's stunning.
Yes.
It's such a nice lifestyle, but it's not making sense with regards to money and the economy. Even though it's the strongest economy in Europe and Spain's economy actually is picking up, it does not come close to what you said, Ahmed. Always look at the economy of a place before you're investing. And if you look at when we'll talk about another episode, the D33 agenda of doubling of the economy, right? By 2033, the Master 2040 plan, and every day there's a new initiative implemented for Dubai to continue to grow because, as the Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum said, he wants Dubai to be the #1 city for its people. Tahir, did you see that I got to meet him?
Yeah, I saw that. That's
And I got to
great.
show him the billboard that I have in the United States, and he said, "In America?" And I said, "Yeah." I mean that. Because I always play his voice and I always play his vision. And whenever we talk about everything and what's even driven me to be here is his vision. So the idea of running into him and not being attacked or arrested for being able to walk up to him and show him on the phone the reel that I have of his voice that I have on the reel of the billboards, him saying, I want Dubai to be the #1 city. And if just dive into that's why we do this podcast, is to educate, especially Americans, because really, UK, they get it. India, as you said from the beginning, they get it, okay? The United States didn't. They heard about it. They're curious. They know that there's wealth here, but they didn't get, can they participate in it? How easy is it?
Yes.
How safe is it? And that's why I created this podcast, is to continue to educate. And we'll continue to do that, but what I wanted to do was this global comparison here in the beginning of 2025 to say the best time and the best place Dubai now. Be part of the city of the future.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we're here to answer questions and help guide and help build and manage our clients' portfolios. We're not a one done and sale. It's really about the
Building the
fulfillment.
relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you both for
Thanks a
your
lot, Gigi.
support
Pleasure's
as I
ours.
Thank you.
continue to do my work. I
you all
am
the best.
so honored to have you both on my team. And with that, I will say I hope you secured some great information and that you like this episode. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Dubai Connect. Happy investing.